Mark and Amy continue up the stairs. Before long, they can hear the sound of something laughing hysterically in the distance. To avoid whatever the source of the laughing is, they go through the first door they see. Amy and Mark stand in a hallway that constitutes the first floor, not counting the ground floor, of the research lab. The teenagers quickly realize that they aren't alone here. They can hear the sound of zombies moaning and getting closer, but it's so dark in the hallway that they can't tell for sure where the zombies are coming from. Then, when the zombies are almost on top of them, the teens finally see them. There are 2 zombies, one coming from either side. Mark and Amy quickly draw their guns and fire, dispatching the zombies. Not sure where to go next, Mark and Amy start trying doors. They start with the first door on the right, which turns out to be locked. They then try the next door, which opens. As they start walking into this room, they can hear this heavy sobbing of multiple wailing creatures. They scramble to get out of the room as quickly as possible, and they shut the door behind them. They go through the next door. After standing in the room for a few moments, they hear no sounds and see nothing moving, so they decide to investigate the room. They can see many shapes in the room, but it's too dark to tell what anything is. Mark gets the candle out of his pocket and Amy gets the matches. They light the candle and start looking around the room. This room is filled with desks. On the desks are computers, papers, test tubes, chemicals, microscopes, and other assorted lab equipment. After searching around the room using the candle for light, the teenagers spot a key taped high up on the wall and out of reach. "I don't know what that goes to," Mark says, "but I bet we'll need it." Amy and Mark start looking around the room for anything that will help them to get the key down. Amy picks up some pieces of wire off of one of the desks. "If we twist these wires together," she begins, "it might be long enough to get the key down." Amy twists the ends of the wires together, creating a long piece of wire. She pokes the key with the wire and is finally able to get it. She tosses the wire away and looks at the key. "The tag says Director's Office," Amy says. "The Director's Office would probably be on the highest floor," Mark says, "so let's start looking there." Mark and Amy go back out to the staircase. They can't hear the laughing in the distance anymore, but they still move cautiously as they climb the stairs. They bypass the second floor doorway and go all the way to the third floor, the highest floor. They go through the door to the third floor. In this area, they see only one room to enter. Amy puts her key into the door's keyhole. It works. The door unlocks. In this room, there is only one desk. This desk is much neater than the desks in the other room. On it, there is a computer, some well-organized papers, and no lab equipment. More notable items on this desk include another key and a paper that is by itself, completely separate from any stack. Mark picks up the key and sees that the tag says Master Key. "All right," he says. "If this is a master key, it should be able to open any locked doors. We shouldn't have any trouble finding what we need from this place anymore." "Unless what we need is guarded by monsters," Amy says pessimistically. Mark sets his candle on the desk by the lone piece of paper. Amy lights it with a match, and they read the paper. There are several individual notes scribbled onto the piece of paper. Entry 1. It's been a while since we dispatched the research team, and we haven't heard anything from them. They haven't contacted us at all. We've tried contacting them, but haven't had any luck. When we get through to their communication equipment, all we hear is static. Entry 2. Several members of the staff, myself included, have seen hideous monsters prowling the streets outside. It seems like whatever happened at the forest is starting to happen here too. The situation has gotten so bad that we've had to lock ourselves in this building simply for protection, and much of the staff refuses to go outside even to get essential items like food. We have no idea what's causing these monsters to appear, and we still can't get in contact with the research team. If we could get in contact with them in any way, we might be able to find something out. I'm considering sending someone over to the forest to personally pick up the research team and bring them back here, but it's so dangerous out there that any person sent might not make it back. For all we know, the research team has been wiped out too. Entry 3. We've completely locked ourselves up in this building, and yet we aren't safe even here. Several members of the staff had started transforming into monsters. Zombies, they call them. It likely won't be long before they and, well, the rest of us are nothing but mindless monstrosities. Entry 4. I've heard some of the staff saying that one of our researchers, Dr. Nakamura, I believe, has formed a hypothesis as to what is causing this transformation. I need to see if I can get in contact with him, but to be honest, at this point I'm too afraid to leave my office. I know Nakamura's room of operation was on the second floor, but I can't remember which room. Mark draws back while Amy continues to study the note in the candlelight. Mark notices a zombie standing right next to him. "Holy shit!" he exclaims. Mark grabs his handgun and points it at the zombie. "Mark?" Amy asks, startled. "What the hell are you doing?" "Amy?" Mark says, confused. "Is that you?" Angry, Amy says, "Yeah, who the hell do you think it is?" "You look like a zombie," Mark points out. "That's not funny, Mark," Amy says, annoyed. "It's not a joke," Mark says. "Look at your arm." Amy looks at her arm. She sees that it is starting to turn gray, the same color as the zombie's skin. She screams and draws back away from the candlelight so that she can't see her arm anymore. Although Mark is standing too far away from the candlelight for them to see it, his skin is also starting to turn gray. Chapter 4. Nowhere to Run. "I told you we had to get out of here," Amy begins. "We wasted so much time trying to find people that are probably dead or zombies anyway, and now we're transforming too. If we had just run away, we could have avoided all of this. Why do you want to do the opposite of everything I want to do? Why are you always fighting me so hard?" "Okay," Mark says, submitting. "Maybe I haven't been the best brother. I just knew that you weren't biologically related to Mom and Dad, and I felt that you couldn't care about them the way I did. I should have known better. I shouldn't have jumped down your throat whenever I got the impression you didn't care about them. I should have given you a chance. But if you want a chance to prove that you care about them, then this is it. The way I see it, if we're going to die either way, we might as well make the most of this time. If we can find a way to stop this, we can still save Mom and Dad and ourselves too." "Fine," Amy concedes. "Let's go and see if we can learn anything from Dr. Nakamura's notes." Amy and Mark go back out to the staircase and through the door to the second floor. They can hear that hysterical laughter again, coming from the far left end of the hallway. The teenagers turn around to the sound of the laughter, drawing their guns. They see that the source of the laughter is a tall, thin creature that has a huge mouth. The monster doesn't walk or run so much as prance toward them. Mark and Amy fire at the monster, but it keeps moving. They start walking back while still firing to make sure that the creature can't get too close to them. Finally, it falls to the ground and stops laughing. With the laughing creature taken care of, the teenagers go through the nearest door. They light their candle and start looking around the room. Suddenly, a screaming creature pops out from under a desk and starts screaming. Mark and Amy kick the monster frantically, trying to knock it out or kill it. Finally, the creature slumps to the ground and stops making noise. Then, the teens can hear the sound of many screaming creatures coming down the hallway outside. Mark quickly runs back to the door and locks it. The screaming creatures bang against the door, but it does not open. "Hey!" Amy calls, holding the candle and standing over a desk. "I think I found Dr. Nakamura's notes." Mark walks over to Amy and takes a look. She's standing over a folder labeled J. Nakamura. Amy opens up the folder. Aside from assorted lab reports that aren't very useful, they find a note mentioning the recent strange events. "I have a few ideas. I'm going to write down my thoughts in case they might end up being useful to someone, somewhere. I've noticed something very interesting about these quakes we've been having recently. They're too small to be real earthquakes, but too large to be nothing. But even more importantly, I've noticed that people here at the lab didn't start transforming into zombies until after we started having quakes here. I know there has to be some connection, but I don't have enough evidence to say what it is yet. But that's not even the most interesting part. We're all transforming, but I've noticed that the people who lost their cool and panicked transformed quickly, while the people who remained calm are transforming slowly. This is the only major difference I've noticed between the people that transform quickly and the people that transform slowly. In addition, people who were far along in their transformations reported feeling emotionally dead, almost like they were incapable of feeling emotion anymore. Based on these observations, I believe that the transformation might somehow be based on emotion. It defies all logic, and I still don't know the exact cause behind these strange events, but right now, this is the only theory we have. Maybe when, or if, the team that was sent to the forest gets back, we can share notes and possibly work together to come up with a more substantial conclusion.
What? That's it?
Amy says, unsatisfied. Well, Mark says, at least we now know that staying calm will slow down the transformation. That'll give us more time to keep searching for answers. It looks like we have no choice now, Amy says. We have to go to the forest where it all started. We'll need a boat to cross the lake, Mark points out, so let's start by going to the docks.